Made with Spoken.
Rice Cooker Revenge by S.J. Payonas. Chapter 1. Rice Cooker. Slam! Jab! Crack! My lid grinds open, steam billowing out, and the flat spoon descends in and mixes around the half-kilogram's worth of fluffy rice inside my bowl. I groan as the bowl snaps against my casing over and over, no relief in sight until the chef is done with me. Every day it's the same routine. Open lid, add washed rice and water, slam lid shut. I beep and cook and beep. Some days I don't want to beep. Some days I just want to sit silently and not have anyone touch me at all. Ryu, you deal with the rice. I have tempura batter to make. The chef throws the paddle into the bowl, and I flinch as it rattles around. You would think that once, he could be nice enough to not throw things at me? Not yet. But Ryu has been called forth finally. Me? Really? Ryu glances up from the pot he's washing at the sink, his arms poised and flexed. Ryu has never been asked to deal with anything but the dishes and the trash. Yes, you may be a worthless dishwasher, but maybe you can handle rice. Smooth it out on the platter like I showed you and add the mixture from the fridge. Ryu sputters, his eyes wide, before lurching forward to stand in front of me. His delicate hand holds the bowl while he carefully spoons out the rice. I sigh, happy to not be manhandled anymore. Ryu blinks his eyes at me, tilting his head to the side. What's that? His dark brown eyes squint, and his mouth frowns as he looks left and right. He closes the lid for a moment and stares at me. A 7-year-old Zojirushi rice cooker, state of the art when I was purchased. I've suffered under the ministrations of the chef, he doesn't like to be called anything else, since then, and watched dozens of trainees cycle through this restaurant in the intervening years. I make rice like it's my job because, well, it is. Except on the rare occasion, the chef's wife comes in and uses me to make porridge. That's always a nice change of pace. Huh, Ryu says, pressing my buttons. Weird. I descend from the warming stage to off, my heating coils taking a well-deserved break. What's so weird? Am I malfunctioning? Ryu's eyes blaze in understanding as he leans into the steam vent in my top. Did you just talk to me? Depends on whether you heard me or not. I'm wary to get too excited. All the other trainees in the last 7 years, since I emerged from the box, have used and dismissed me. It takes a kind soul to understand a rice cooker. Shit! I heard you! I must be going crazy! Ryu smacks his own face, and from the other end of the kitchen, the chef yells, What's wrong with you? Get going! Right, he mumbles, opening my lid and lifting out the bowl. He lightly closes the top, glances warily at me again, and turns away. See you later, I chime, using my best sing-song happy voice. My day is suddenly looking up.
Chapter 2. Ryu. The lights are low in the kitchen, and everyone is gone for the day. The restaurant never stays open past midnight, all the customers having left for the izakaya across the street that stays open until 2 a.m. I grab a handful of carrots from the refrigerator and stand at the butcher block, knife at the ready. Practicing again tonight? The rice cooker asks. I sigh and close my eyes. Yes, always. How else will I be able to prove to the chef I can proceed with training? You won't be able to. You're just like all the others. I am not, I insist. It replies. The rice cooker and I sigh in time with each other. I have no idea how long I've been fighting with the damn thing, but it insists on goading me every single day. It clucks at me when I walk by and laughs when the chef yells at me, as he does several times a shift. The whole situation is ludicrous. I mean, what the hell did I do to piss off the rice cooker? Look, I say, peeling the carrot skins onto a towel on the counter. There's still a lot for me to learn. I take a deep breath and concentrate on the carrot. This is the hard part. I have to cut in, and with a spiral-like consistency around the core, make the carrot into a flat rectangle for perfect dicing. I always screw this up, and the chef banned me from doing this task. My carrots always come out uneven. You know what? I think you're doing a great job as it is. Who says you need the chef to teach you anything more anyway? I gently place the knife on the butcher block and turn slowly to the rice cooker. Are you joking? You've been telling me for the last few weeks that I'm worthless. I have not. I've only been kidding around with you. Come on, we're friends. Lifelong. What about yesterday? You called me an idiot when I was working on my tempura frying technique. The rice cooker laughs. If it was a real person, he would be bent at the waist, one hand on a knee, and the other waving in the air. Even I know more about tempura than you do. You need to make sure the oil is at the perfect temperature before battering and frying. I didn't see you check the thermometer once. I crossed my arms. I was going on instinct. Have you any idea what that means? I doubt you do. Rice cookers don't possess much in the way of feelings. It's true. I'm a hunk of plastic and metal, but I assure you I have feelings as well. But I agree going on instinct is the way you should cook. That's how the chef has been doing it for the last 30 years, and that's why his tempura is the best in Tokyo. Or so says pretty much everyone who walks in the door. He only has the one competitor 3 blocks over. What's his name? The rice cooker asks. Natsugawa, I reply. I actually like Natsugawa. He's a nice old man, but his son wants to take over the business, so he has no need for trainees. Right. How could I forget? The chef grumbles about him at least once a week. The chef has no clue what goes on outside of his restaurant. He has no idea people talk about his restaurant on Facebook, that a famous YouTube vlogger came in and raved about his meals, nor that his reviews are off the charts on several other websites. I look at them every morning when I wake up. I return to my carrot slicing, pleased I finally got a flat sheet from which to julienne. That looks good, you're getting better. I grab a sweet potato from my pile and begin peeling it. Why are you being nice to me all of a sudden? It's not like you to give me praise. Are you trying to butter me up or something? What? What do you need? Nothing, I swear, the rice cooker says. I cut in silence for a while, making sure the slices of sweet potato are all the same width. Carrots, sweet potatoes, shrimp, and teriyaki sauce over rice for breakfast tomorrow morning. Maybe I'll throw in an egg too. Who am I kidding? I'll be too tired to cook anything tomorrow morning anyway. What happened to that girlfriend of yours who used to come here? I wince, setting aside the sweet potato slices with the carrots and dumping them both in the plastic bento box I washed earlier. My eyes burn and my lungs ache. 3 a.m. is no time to be working, or even practicing with a knife. But when else will I get the chance? I can't afford the kinds of knives we use here. Practicing at home would do me no good. She broke up with me, for obvious reasons. I wave the knife around at the cold, dark, and empty kitchen. I never took time off to spend with her. I'm here pretty much every night and open the place up every morning at 10. No time for girls. Oh, that's too bad. She didn't want a famous chef for a boyfriend? I laugh as I grab the sponge from the sink and rinse it in hot water. You must be joking, I say. I'm not joking, I really think you have something, the rice cooker insists. I wipe down all the counters and throw the scraps in with the burnable trash. Well, thanks, but it's not enough yet. Chef San is beyond annoyed with me. I think if I screw up one more time, he's going to fire me and move on. The entire tempura batch was a disaster, and it was all my fault. I rub at a kink in my neck and smack my face a few times to wake up. I need to sort the trash before I go home, so I'll see you tomorrow. Night, Ryu. Sleep well. I catch myself waving at the rice cooker on my way out the door, then stare at my traitorous hand. Why am I waving to a machine that cooks rice? I work for 30 minutes sorting the trash, possibly the worst part of my day, but I do it while listening to music on my ancient iPod, the hand-me-down from my older brother I live with. He's also not married, but has a better job than I do, working in an office, making more money in a week than I do in a month. I'm just glad I don't have to live with my parents anymore. I unlock my pieced-together bicycle and head home. Hopefully I'll be in bed before dawn.
Chapter 3. Rice Cooker. The chef is yelling at Ryu again, this time for not having enough plates ready for the lunchtime crowd. He's careful about the words he lets fly in the back kitchen, only beating down on Ryu when there are no customers in the building. Ryu stands and takes it. I want to say like a man, because I've heard this phrase before. But what do I know? I'm a rice cooker, not a human being. I take my own punishment every day. Slam, jab, crack. Another batch of washed rice and water goes into my belly, and my buttons are pushed for a sushi rice cycle. At least this means I'll get a solid 45 minutes of peace. Maybe Ryu will as well, since the chef is wiping his hands on his rag and heading out the back door to smoke a cigarette and wait for the produce delivery. He cracks the large, dented steel door with a block of wood, and the sound of his lighter relaxes Ryu's shoulders. "Did you get any sleep?" I ask, humming away as my insides warm up. "No." Ryu wipes down a plate with a clean towel. "I've been sitting up at night and thinking about how I can get Chef San to teach me more techniques. I really don't want to get fired." His skinny arms flex as he grips the side of the steel table in the middle of the room. I decided that this was my last chance to get something right for once. He wipes his towel along the edge of another plate before stacking it with the others. "If I can't do this, then I might as well give up on a restaurant job and drive a cab or something." "Do you think you'd be good at driving a cab?" Ryu shrugs his shoulders. "I'd be passable. I've lived here all my life and my English is pretty good." "But you love cooking, right? I see the way you handle a knife and your technique is solid. Who taught you knife skills?" Ryu's cheeks color, and he turns away from me. "My mother. She has arthritis now and doesn't cook much anymore. She buys a lot of pre-cut vegetables from the market and makes do. My older brother hated cooking, so I always helped out." Ryu's eyes scan the kitchen, landing on all the different components of this small tempura shop. The fryer, the counters, the refrigerator. These are all stations he wants to work at, but the chef keeps him away. I think for a moment, rice and water bubbling away in my bowl and steam piping from my lid. Ryu has potential, more than any other kid who has come through here for the past 7 years. First, there was the chef's nephew. What a loser. The kid barely knew how to weigh flour, and getting him to mix the batter was another story entirely. He didn't have any muscles, couldn't work a whisk to save his life. The chef's wife cried when he was let go, certain her sister was going to disown them. Then, 2 years later, when the chef twisted his ankle, he took on another trainee. But that guy was too ambitious. He was always pushing for more responsibility, and the chef's warning bells were going off all the time. He would mumble to the delivery men about the overachiever, and eventually he fired the guy for dropping a plate on its way out to a customer. Several other young budding chefs worked here until Ryu walked in the door. And forget women. The chef is a misogynistic asshole. He doesn't even hire women servers. One old man works here who takes orders and delivers plates to the 4 tables in the house. The line is out the door most nights. The chef's sought-after shrimp, fish, and vegetable tempura is on every hot list on the internet, so Ryu tells me. Ryu sighs and adds another plate to the stack. "Anyway," he says, glancing at the propped door and the chef beyond, smoking his cigarette, "I won't get anywhere if I can't learn more." He runs his fingers through his hair and sighs. "I keep trying to look over the chef's shoulder when he's preparing the tempura, but he won't let me see anything." "Who are you talking to in here?" The chef rolls into the kitchen, patting his belly and eyeing Ryu as he slips his double-breasted uniform back on. Ryu glances at me, but I stay silent. Cooking the rice is my only real job, after all. "Nobody. I was reciting some sutras from school." Ryu counts the plates, 20 in all. "Good. I can't imagine I pay you enough to get psychological help." "No, Chef-san. What do you need me to start on next?" The chef grunts, Ryu having jabbed him about the fact he underpays by a landslide. If Ryu got sick, he'd be short the 30% he'd need to pay of his medical bill. I only know about the national health care system after watching enough trainees cut themselves, trip or slip on something in the kitchen, and then spend weeks recovering and grumbling about the bills. The chef is supposed to help pay the 30% not covered by the government, but he's never lifted a finger to help anyone else. Really, the chef is an asshole of huge proportions, and I hate him. If anyone ever wondered what happens when you piss off a rice cooker, I'm about to show them.
Chapter 4. Ryu. "You know, I was thinking about something," the rice cooker says. The rice cooker is contemplative this morning as I spoon rice from its bowl and prepare to season it. I really should tell it to be quiet. I don't care what it's thinking about except if the rice is done or not. "What's that?" I ask. I can't help myself, and the chef isn't in the kitchen right now to berate me. He's out in the seating area talking to Yoshinoro, the old man who seats and serves people. I close the rice cooker's lid gently and spread the piping hot rice out on the giant, shallow wooden bowl we use for seasoning. It's important to let the rice cool and season it at the same time. We serve sushi rice with the tempura, pickles, and a soy dipping sauce I really love and try to mix up at home. Mine comes close, but it's not the same. I was thinking we're both too good for the chef. He's a real dick, and we're the ones who deserve better. Ha! Hilarious, I say. Since when do rice cookers get up in arms about their station in life? Sorry, poor choice of words. Because I have no arms? Maybe. I dip my head, angry at myself for poking fun at the rice cooker. It's got a fast wit and a hot temper, but it's my only friend in this kitchen. Well, my only friend in this whole town. Forget it. It was funny. Anyway, I thought maybe I would show you how to make the batter for the tempura. Show me? I laugh, dribbling the seasoning mix over the rice and folding it over a few times. Poor choice of words. It laughs again and I hide my smile. I'll tell you. After all, I've been sitting here on this counter for 7 years now. I've seen it all. There was this one time I watched 2 people have sex on the very butcher block you cut carrots on. Ew, really? I hope it was bleached. I glance over at the butcher block. I will never feel the same way about it again. I can't be sure, it says. Anyway, I believe in you, Ryu. I think of all the past trainees the chef has had, you're the best of the bunch. I finish seasoning the rice and cover the bowl so the rice doesn't get too cold. The chef likes the rice at a warm temperature, and I really don't want to piss him off today. Well, I appreciate the sentiment, but what's the point? I ask. I could learn from you, but what would I do with the knowledge if the chef won't let me use it? The rice cooker is quiet, and sitting there, cooling down from doing its job. I don't think anyone has ever taken the time to clean it properly. I grab a rag, wet it with scalding hot water, and wipe down the rice cooker inside and out. It's obvious the thing is neglected and never taken care of. Bits of burnt and dried out rice are wedged into every crack, and the inside heating elements are crusted with rice starch. I unplug it, open all the parts, and shake it over the garbage to get the desiccated rice out, scrub out the inside, and wash everything in warm water before I put it together again. The rice cooker sighs. That's the nicest thing anyone has ever done for me, it says, as I plug it back into the wall. You're just like new again. I run my finger over the crack in the lid. Well, almost. I turn away to drop the rag in the sink. Wait, grab a piece of paper and a pen. Now, before the tyrant comes back in, the rice cooker says. I hesitate because as poor as I am, I have neither of these things on me. But the chef keeps a cup full of pens on his desk. It's really just a piece of plywood on crates in the corner of the kitchen. And I doubt he'd miss one pen. I sneak over, careful to glance out the kitchen door, but I find the rest of the restaurant empty. Soft laughter comes from the front, and through the sliding glass door, the chef and Yoshinoro are smoking and talking to the old lady who lives in the next building over. I pull a paper receipt from the trash, a pen from the cup, and go back to the rice cooker. Okay, what? I ask, standing over it. Let's start with the batter.
Chapter 5. Rice Cooker. If I'm going to go out, I'm going out with a bang. There's really no need for me to keep these secrets, since the chef has never, ever treated me well. Slam, jab, crack. That's all I've ever known from him. Ryu is kind and honest, the perfect person to show up the chef. I talk while the chef is busy doing other things. It's not like he can hear me anyway, and Ryu is eager to learn as much as possible in the shortest amount of time as possible. I think he's tired of living with his brother and eating instant ramen every day. Did you get down the part about what kind of oil the chef uses? I ask. I cook up a big batch of rice, and Ryu is back to washing dishes again. He nods his head over the sink, humming his acknowledgments, but refraining from speaking to me directly. Over at the frying station, the chef has everything lined up and ready to go for several orders of shrimp and vegetable tempura. He blots each piece dry, dips them in batter, rolls them in panko breadcrumbs, and lightly places them in the hot oil. They sizzle and dance around, morphing from sand-colored, unappetizing lumps to golden fried morsels of goodness. I never crave food since all I do is cook rice, but these always look amazing, and there are times when I hear people in the restaurant exclaiming how good they are. Ryu glances at the plates of tempura as the chef lifts each from the fryer with a wire spatula. The chef growls at Ryu, "Get back to work, or I'll have no plates for the rest of the afternoon." "Yes, chef-san," Ryu hunches back over the sink, scrubbing and washing plate after plate. The chef stands at the door to the restaurant, peeking out and watching the customers ooh and ah over his lunches once again. He folds his arms across his chest, smugly satisfied by all he's accomplished in life. This gives me pause. I can imagine the chef, young and ambitious like Ryu, ready to make his career with his city-wide famous tempura. Maybe he doesn't deserve for us to be stealing his secrets and trying to usurp him. The kitchen door pushes open straight into the chef, jostling him to the side. He scowls at the old man, Yoshinoro, as he brings in a plate of pickles. Watch where you're going. The chef's face falls into a deep frown. Why are you bringing back the pickles? Yoshinoro sighs before taking a tiny step back. The customer says they are too flabby and taste rotten. They're perfectly fine pickles. He picks one up but doesn't eat it. He would like better pickles. Is this all we have? Yoshinoro asks. Of course it's all we have. Who is this that's insulting my pickles? The chef leans over Yoshinoro's shoulder and peers out the tiny window in the door. It's not a problem, Yoshinoro whispers, placing his hand on the chef's chest. Bad idea. Don't put your hands on me, Yoshi. Show me this customer right now. The chef pushes past Yoshinoro and stalks into the restaurant. I take back all my good thoughts towards the chef as he yells at a customer in the restaurant while all other noises fall silent. Ryu walks up to me, drying his hands on a towel. What an asshole. You'd think he could just apologize for his weak pickles and beg the forgiveness of the customer. Ryu shakes his head. You know what I already think of the man, I say, simmering down for the last few minutes of my cooking time. He doesn't deserve the small amount of success he's had. If only he could control his temper. Ryu grabs the piece of paper and pen he keeps in his back pocket now. What was he doing before he battered and fried the shrimp? Great, yes, let's get back to business, I begin. The door flies open and the chef eyes Ryu. Who are you talking to in here? He demands. Ryu slowly inches his paper back into his pocket. I wasn't talking. He leans against the wall in front of me, blocking my view of the chef, or blocking the chef's view of me. I can't tell. Yes, you were, he insists. I heard your voice right before I opened the door. Are you going crazy or something? Because I can't have people with mental illnesses in my kitchen. Ryu pauses. I wasn't talking, I swear. Are you calling me a liar? The chef strides up to Ryu, right in his face. Ryu's body tenses, and I try to think of what I can do to help. No, Chef-san, I burst into their conversation to chime about the rice being done, my little Amaryllis, Air Louis XIII jingle signaling the rice is done to perfection. The chef points his index finger in Ryu's face. You're on rice and dishwashing duty for the rest of the month. If I catch you lying to me again, you're fired. Understand? Yes, Chef-san, Ryu whispers, hanging his head. The chef returns to the tempura frying and Ryu turns to me, mouthing, "Thank you," under his breath. That was a close one.
Chapter 6. Ryu. I'm so beat. My hands and fingers shake. After washing dishes and seasoning rice all day, not to mention mopping the floors, cleaning out the refrigerator and reordering the pantry into the chef's idea of organized, a system that made absolutely no sense to me, so it won't come as a surprise that he yelled at me the entire time I was in there moving goods around for him. I have little to no energy left. Nothing left in me to practice chopping or perfecting the tempura batter recipe I got from the rice cooker. I sit on a stool, my fingers clutching a trembling pen as I scribble notes on the back of an invoice. When it comes to the pickles, the chef is sloppy, which is why most of them come back to the kitchen uneaten, the rice cooker says. And you know Japanese people. We love pickles. I know. I make notes of this. Pickles are key. Yawning and checking the time. 2 a.m. again. I haven't practiced cutting vegetables in days. Instead, we've spent every night going over everything the chef makes and sells. If he would only pick cucumbers the same size and use the same amount of salt each time, they would come out perfect, the rice cooker says. Once he tried to brine with miso too, and he hated them, but the customers loved them. They didn't last more than a week in the kitchen, even though the customers still ask for them to this day. Miso pickles. Got it. I shove the paper into my back pocket and stretch. Well, I need to sort the trash and head home. I'm beat. I hop in place a few times to wake myself up and get the blood flowing to my legs again. The rice cooker hums as I straighten up the kitchen. I wring out all the sponges and stack them up neatly next to the sink. tossing the rags in the bucket for washing. I tidy up the knives, checking each one to make sure it's spotless before putting it away. You shouldn't put so much effort into making sure the kitchen is clean every night. It's not like it'll keep the chef from firing you. I sigh, my shoulders falling in a lump. I know, but this is literally the only job in town and I have to keep it. I stew for a moment, wishing I had paid more attention in school, wishing I had more ambition, more drive to be better like my older brother. He went to college and earned a degree, while I did odd jobs and skimmed off my parents until they kicked me out and moved to the countryside. But what about all the tips I'm giving you? You could open your own restaurant, the rice cooker exclaims. Serve tempura, rice, and pickles and be set for the future, because your tempura would be the best tempura in the neighborhood, better than the chef's. I turn around, my eyebrows way up in my hair before I double over laughing. You must be joking, I say. I slap my leg, and my hand catches on the rip in the knee. Oh no, this is my best pair of jeans, one of the only pair that fit me well enough. The chef always wears navy blue trousers, a white shirt, and clogs to work every day. He has 5 different dark gray double-breasted jackets he keeps exceptionally clean because his appearance is ridiculously important to him. This is also why I never leave the back kitchen. Since the chef pays so little, I can't even afford real chef's attire like him. I slow my laughing and wipe my eyes with the back of my hand. Really, rice cooker, I appreciate all the help, but I am the very last person on earth that could compete with the chef. I live paycheck to paycheck. I wear hand-me-downs from my older brother, and I almost never go out with friends because I have no money to. How could someone like me even compete with someone like him? I pause to inspect the rice cooker, which only a few months ago was just a mold of plastic and metal, boiling rice and beeping on occasion. Now it's pretty much the only thing I talk to. The darn thing understands me better than my own brother. How is that even possible? I consider for a moment that maybe I do need therapy. With one hand in the air and the other grabbing the trash bag, I wave goodnight and click the lights off.
Chapter 7. Rice Cooker. The kitchen is quiet as the sun rises, kissing the sky outside the window pink first, before lighting the ceiling along the stove. I'm glad I got this spot in the kitchen because I can see the door and the window from my perch, never far from the outside world. Keys rattle outside, and the chef enters the back door before flipping on the lights in the kitchen. He's in early today, probably to drop off his things before heading over to the fish market. He tosses his keys on his desk and groans, roughing up his face with his big hands. Staring off into the corner of the room where I'm sitting, his eyes scan every inch of countertops. I was wrong to tell Ryu not to be particular. The chef notices if anything is out of place, even a rag or a sponge. His mobile phone rings and he pulls it from his pocket, swiping across the screen to answer. Hello? Yes, this is Nakamoto. Oh, really? Good, good. I placed my ad with you almost 2 months ago and I didn't hear from you for quite some time. He pauses as he grabs a piece of paper from his desk and a pen. He hesitates with his hand over the pen jar, fingers touching each pen. Is he counting them? I see. Okay, well, I didn't realize the school year wasn't over yet. How many people do you have for me? I'm looking to hire 2, the chef says. Oh no, what's this? The chef jots something down on the paper and nods his head. Okay, send them over on Friday. I need to give my current employee a week's notice. Thank you. He hangs up his phone and slips it into his back pocket before humming and grabbing his coat. He leaves the note on the desk, grabs his coat, and turning off the light, exits the kitchen. If only I had legs, I would go over there and figure out what's going on. But my instincts tell me whatever it is isn't good. 30 minutes later, the kitchen back door reopens and Ryu enters early for his shift. Morning, he says, hanging up his coat by the door. I stew for a moment, wishing I was cooking rice and water because doing my job is the only thing that keeps me from being tossed in the trash. It settles me, and I'm unsettled knowing something is about to change Ryu's life forever. I thought I'd come in early instead of staying late, Ryu says. I figured it was better for me to be alert for all of our chat sessions, no? Though I think I'm going to go out for coffee. I think you should look at what's on the desk first, I whisper, certain the chef will be back any moment to catch us having a gossiping session. What's on the desk? Ryu walks over and scans all the items on the plywood before he picks up the piece of paper the chef left behind. New trainees. There are 2 names here. Ryu's face pales and he licks his lips. I'm being replaced. I'm so sorry, Ryu. You may have about a week, so we should work fast in the meantime. I have some ideas for you. Ryu stares into space for a long moment, his eyes flicking back and forth over the desk before they focus on the chef's double-breasted uniforms hanging neatly to the right of the refrigerator. He snaps up a piece of paper and a pen and strides over to me. Go, tell me everything, he says. I start with all the places the chef buys his ingredients from, thinking they must be the best because otherwise I can't imagine why people would be fawning over his tempura like it's food from heaven. He gets so much praise for being such an asshole. Ryu furiously jots down every place the chef gets his ingredients from that I can think of. Every grocer and fishmonger who has ever stepped foot inside the kitchen, or any place the chef has mentioned out loud to Yoshinoro or had a conversation with on the phone. I am capable of reading. I'm a smart rice cooker after all, but since I only sit in this one place in the kitchen, I can never look at the invoices. Having no mobility is a definite loss when it comes to spying on my boss. Ryu is 10 items deep on the list when the back door bursts open. Shit! Neither of us heard the door unlatch. With a large box of fish in his hands, the chef strides in and dumps the box on the stainless steel counter. Ryu, what the hell are you doing here? You usually don't come in for another 2 hours. He tries to subtly put the note in his back pocket, but the chef's eyes narrow at the pen in his hand. Are you stealing pens from me? The chef's face heats to bright red, a volcano about to blow. I've noticed pens have gone missing. No, sir, Ryu stammers. I was only writing down a few things and then I was going to put the pen back on your desk. I swear. What are you writing? The chef comes around the counter and reaches for the note still in Ryu's hand. If only Ryu had managed to get it into his back pocket, maybe the chef wouldn't have reached for it. Too late. The chef snatches the paper and lifts it in the air. It's just some poetry, Chef-san. I like to come here in the morning when it's quiet. It is not poetry, you idiot. His eyes dance over all of Ryu's notes, and I begin to panic. This is all happening too soon. Too soon. I expected to have some time yet with Ryu to build his confidence and encourage him to soldier on with all the information I would give him. He's so far from being ready to spar with the chef at his own game. And if Ryu leaves, there's no guarantee I'll connect with a new trainee and be able to carry on this mission. You have been stealing from me, the chef fumes. And not just pens and food, because don't think I haven't noticed produce going missing, but information about my business? He holds the paper up in the air, waving it around. I can't believe how ungrateful you've been, after all I've done for you. The chef's face is the color of pickled beets, sweat beading on his forehead and spit launching from his lips. Ryu shrinks back against the counter next to me, his face pale and arms shaking. I wish he'd stand up for himself. Ryu has every right to eat in a kitchen he works in. No other chef would deny his own workers food. This is outrageous. I'm going to call the cops. No one steals from me and gets away with it, the chef yells. No, this is way out of hand. I need to save Ryu. What can I do? The chef turns away, pulling his phone from his pocket. Whatever you do, find me and fix me, I whisper to Ryu. Then I hold my breath and concentrate as hard as I can on my inner circuits until... Pop! And all goes black.
Chapter 8. Ryu.
Gah!
I yell, jumping back from the rice cooker. The lights in the kitchen flicker as a flame leaps from the electronics panel on the front, quickly melting the plastic and spewing acrid smoke into the kitchen. The chef spins around, dropping his phone on the floor in shock, his mouth wide open. I dart past him towards the fire extinguisher near the stove. I yank the canister from its holder and aim at the rice cooker, pulling the trigger and dousing the top in foam. Once the flames are out, I reach over to unplug the cord from the wall. Oh no! I sigh, my hands falling to my sides. My friend! What the hell am I going to do now? Its last words were, find me and fix me? And how am I supposed to do that? I tentatively touch the lid and open the top. The lid and bowl inside are still fine. Only the front electronics panel fried in the fire. I wipe a finger across the electronic readout and press my hand to its front. Cold. I think the fire's out. The chef stands mute, looking between me, the extinguisher in my hand, and the charred rice cooker. Damn thing, he breathes out before huffing. I've only had the thing for 7 years. I thought they were supposed to last 10. My temper rises so fast I'm blinded by rage. Well, if you stopped mistreating it so often, maybe it would last longer. I push past the chef and hang the extinguisher back on the wall. You'll need to get the extinguisher charged back up again. I reach for my coat near the door. Wait, Ryu. Stay for your shift and I'll pay you tonight, the chef says. I pause with one arm in a sleeve. You actually want me to stay today? After accusing me of stealing from you and then getting ready to call the cops on me? The chef's lips flap and he burbles before he picks his phone up off the floor. It is sadly not damaged. You could be a little more grateful for all I've done for you. All you've done? For me? For me? I finish putting my coat on. You've done nothing for me but pay me less than minimum wage, off the books, with no healthcare costs, and no breaks. You didn't even let me actually do my job, which was supposed to be a trainee, someone you train in how to make what the restaurant makes. I've been here 2 years, and you only ever let me touch the rice. You're despicable. I walk up to him and put out my hand, proud of myself for standing up to the chef, but terrified of what may come next. You can pay me now for this week, and I'll leave without calling the cops on you and informing them of all the health codes you violate every day. The chef's face flattens into an impenetrable shield, his eyes scrunching down until I can't see them at all. They're buried under folds of flesh. Stalemate. Who is going to break first? It certainly isn't going to be me. I'm too poor to back down. I need my wages or I won't eat this week. Just thinking of food makes my stomach grumble. I didn't eat breakfast today to save money for lunch. Fine! The chef huffs between his lips, and his features return to normal. As he turns to walk away, I close my eyes and breathe a sigh of relief before looking at the rice cooker. I'm sorry, my friend. I have no idea how to take you with me unless... Here. The chef yanks open the safe in the wall behind the desk and counts out cash on top of his books and papers. This is what I owe you for the week. Don't come back here, he says, shoving the cash at my chest. Not even to eat. If you do, I'll call the cops and tell them what happened here. Fine, I say, recounting my earnings. What, you don't trust me? I glance up through my bangs. No, and you owe me for today. I do not. I saved your kitchen from catching on fire. At least have the decency to pay me for the day. Fine. He counts out a few more bills and shoves them at me. Now go. I fold the bills and stuff them into my back pocket, turning and walking from the kitchen, never to look at it again. I may be poor, but I have enough pride to not give a shit about losing a crappy job. Outside, I take a deep breath of the morning air, grab my bicycle and walk it to the end of the alley, chaining it to the fence around the corner and out of sight from the kitchen's back door. I nod at the old woman who lives next door to the chef's restaurant, and she smiles at me. Nice day, Ryu, isn't it? Indeed it is. Any day that starts with freedom is a nice day, I say. She laughs and waves her hand at me, not having any idea what I'm talking about. I lean against the wall, waiting, my arms crossed over my chest. About 10 minutes later, just when my hunger is about to get the better of me, I hear the kitchen's back door squeaking open, grating across the concrete outside. I peek my head around the corner in time to see the chef emerge from the door with the busted rice cooker. He opens one of the large blue dumpster bins and drops it inside before dusting off his hands and heading back in. I break into a sprint, run down the alley, lift the garbage can lid, and fish out my friend. There we go. I had a feeling he was going to throw you out, I say. The rice cooker doesn't respond, and I frown, sad it's so silent after so many weeks of chattering my ear off. Para, 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 all day long. I hoist the rice cooker up under my arm, take it to my bike, and strap it to the back. I need to figure out some way of fixing it. I arrive home to an empty apartment. My brother left the same time I did, and I don't expect him home until late. We never see each other except on the weekends anyway. My brother is lucky he has a job that only asks him to come in during the week. I, on the other hand, have never been that lucky. Also, when the workday is done for my brother, he gets to go drinking with his workmates. When my workday is over, I collapse into a heap and fall asleep. There are real advantages to being a salaryman. I set the rice cooker down on the coffee table in our tiny living room / my bedroom. I sleep here at night. When I come home, I pull my futon from the closet, lay it against the bare wall, and crash. In the morning, I get out my ancient laptop, also a hand-me-down from my brother, read the news, return emails from friends around the world, check in on social media, and browse job openings. Lately, I've been dreaming about going back to school, enrolling at a university, and getting a real education. I was thinking I could learn accounting or something, and then I'd be able to work almost anywhere. But now I have no job, and my only friend for the past few weeks is a burnt-out piece of machinery that reeks of singed plastic. I'm too hungry to do anything, so I microwave up a cup of ramen noodles, slicing up some frozen fish cake for protein. It's a cheap meal, lacking in any kind of nutrients or fresh vegetables, but it'll have to do until I can get back on my feet again. My brother is going to be pissed when I ask to borrow money again. I sigh, plopping down on the floor to eat next to the table and rice cooker. Maybe I can keep my jobless state from him for a few more days. Let's take a look at you and see what the hell happened, I say to the rice cooker, setting aside my empty styrofoam cup. I pick it up and examine the case on all sides. The front panel is marked with black smoke and melted around the edges. My fingertips are immediately coated with the slime from the fire extinguisher, so I set it back down and head to the kitchen. I run the water until it's hot, wet a rag, and clean up the rice cooker again. Didn't I just do this for you a week ago? I pull the bowl out and wipe down all the exterior parts before setting it back down on the table. There. That'll do for now. I've never fixed anything electronic, though, so I'm not sure where to start. Should I open it up and take a look around inside? I rifle through the closet in the hallway to my brother's room and the bathroom until I find the small set of screwdrivers and other tools we keep around. I flip over the rice cooker and unscrew the cover, opening its guts for the world to see. Inside is some kind of logic board with a whole bunch of wires, but nothing is vaguely familiar. I shine a flashlight in, and a cluster of wires are all melted together. This must be the problem. 5 YouTube videos later, I think I know what needs to be fixed, but I'm going to need to visit a repair shop, which I don't have the money for. I fall back on the floor and gaze out the window at the blue sky and beautiful day outside while I'm fiddling around with a rice cooker indoors. I should be out enjoying my freedom, but this little appliance just saved me from ending up in a jail for the night. It sacrificed itself and created a diversion, stopping the chef from calling the cops on me. What should I do? You said the thing just caught on fire? The old man hunches over my rice cooker, a pair of magnifying head glasses lighting up the interior of the front panel. There was a pop and then flames. I put it out with a fire extinguisher as quick as I could, but you see it got a little burnt. The old man grunts. Indeed. I sit, my knee bouncing impatiently as the old man pokes and prods my rice cooker. I wince, remembering all the times the chef tossed the flat spoon in the bowl or the time he slammed the top so hard it cracked. The poor thing has been through so much. What the hell is wrong with me? I'm losing my marbles over a rice cooker. I think I see the problem, the man says. The computer chip appears to be fine, but just these wires here need to be replaced. Not sure why they got overloaded. Maybe there was a spike in the power? He rubs the soft gray hair on his head and pulls off the magnifying glasses. I can fix it for you for about 6,000 yen. 6,000 yen? My voice squeaks and I gulp. I only have 9,000 yen on me from the chef's last paycheck, and I was hoping to eat for the rest of the week. The old man hums and nods his head. Yeah, it'll take me a few hours to pull everything out, test the circuits and solder on new wires, then make sure it works once that's done. I can't even guarantee that'll be the end of it. What else could the problem be? I rub my hands together, ready for bad news. The computer chip? Like I said, it appears to be fine, but I can't know for sure. He shrugs his shoulders and I groan. You must be really attached to this rice cooker. You can get a new one for as little as 2,000 yen, you know? I swallow, beads of sweat forming on my forehead. It's special, and one of the high-end models. I'm sure this goes for 16,000 or even 18,000 yen. Yes, you're right. The old man smiles at me. And it's better to fix the things we have than throw them away and buy something new. It's good to see a young man understanding the recycling motenai concept. Too many young people these days throw things away instead of recycling them. Where do they think the trash goes? We're an island. We're several islands, I correct him, and he humps in response. But yes, I get what you're saying. It's just that if I pay for this repair right now, I'll have nothing left to live on for the week. I need to come back later. Are you sure? He closes up the rice cooker and screws it back together. Yes, I'll be back soon, I say. I step from the tiny repair shop onto the sidewalk and tip my face to the spring sun. I could really use more sunlight. I lean back against the wall of the shop and think. Think. How can I get money to get the rice cooker fixed? I catch a whiff of fried food floating down the street to me and shade my eyes from the sun. Down the block, a restaurant is opening for the day. Deep blue Norin curtains hang over the entryway with two kanji characters written across them. Natsu for summer and Kawa for river. Put them together and you get Natsugawa, the chef's only local competitor. I glance down at the rice cooker in my hand and bring it up to my face, kissing it on the lid. Genius move, my friend, genius. A group of girls in their teens laugh at me as they walk past, but I run in the opposite direction towards home. I really need to meet with Natsugawa-san. Is he available? I clutch the stack of papers to my chest and bow to the woman running the front half of the restaurant. The dinner hour is sparse, only 3 of the 10 tables occupied with people eating tempura and drinking beer. Natsugawa's restaurant is actually much nicer than the chef's rundown establishment. The space is bigger with more tables and room to move around. He serves beer, which the chef does not, and I've heard his pickles are good too. But I glance over at the woman eating 2 tables away, and the tempura isn't as golden brown and crisp, and the rice isn't as shiny or soft. The woman picks at the vegetables and frowns. I hope this was a good idea. He's busy. It's the dinner hour. The woman pushes on my shoulder. Either leave and come back later or stay to eat. My stomach grumbles, but I need to save every yen. If I can't talk to Natsugawa and negotiate with him, then I need to keep the cash I have and ask my brother for a loan until I can find a new job. Please tell him Ryu Michinori is here to see him. We've met a few times and he knows who I am. The woman sighs and rolls her eyes before sweeping her sleeves out of the way and bustling into the back kitchen. I wait by the front door, tapping my shoes and glancing around. Please let this work. The kitchen door opens and the woman waves me in. Come back and see Natsugawa's son. He's in the office. I nearly trip over my own shoes, pushing my body through the restaurant to the kitchen door. On the other side, I look around, assessing the kitchen's layout and appliances. They have a clean and well-lit place. Everything appears to be new within the last 5 or 7 years. Natsugawa, the head chef, graying hair cropped close and covered with a bandana, nods at me. He's in his early 70s and his hands shake as he fillets fish on the center island. His assistant busies himself pulling items from the refrigerator and lining up plates for the customers outside. Ryu, it's good to see you again. Natsugawa bows to me, not halting in his knife work. I bow back. Are you here to see me or my son? Your son, I think? I hold the papers even tighter to my chest. He nods in response. Be sure to stop by on your way out when you're done. Yes, sir. I turn and face the door to an actual office with a small desk and filing cabinet. There isn't even enough room for a chair to sit and face Natsugawa's son. I swallow and try to calm my shaking hands, but Natsugawa's son must not even notice I'm nervous because he smiles and jumps up to bow and shake my hand. I'm Jun, he says, letting go of my hand and sitting back down. It's nice to meet you, Ryu. My father says you work for Nakamoto. Is that correct? I used to work for him. I quit this morning, though, I say. Oh? Is that so? His eyebrows pinch together and he runs his hand through his hair before adjusting his glasses. Yeah, I don't want to speak ill of the Nakamoto-san, but he treated me and his staff poorly. I didn't want to work for him anymore. I see. Well, what can I do for you? Jun folds his hands over a stack of papers on the desk. I like your restaurant, Natsugawa-san. I think it's 10 times better than Nakamoto's restaurant, I say. Thank you. If only we had the same business he does. You can, I say, nodding my head aggressively. You definitely can. I worked for Nakamoto for 2 years, and I can give you everything you need to be better than him. Jun leans to the side and makes eye contact with his father out in the kitchen. I turn, and his father is watching me too. How is that? He asks. Well, I clear my throat. This is a business plan I drew up for running a tempura restaurant based on everything I learned at Nakamoto's place. I take the stack of papers and set them on the desk. I worked all afternoon on this business plan. It's a little rushed, and I probably should have spent a few weeks on it, but I had to work fast. With my brother in business, he's always collected business books, and I've read quite a few of them when I've been bored. This is my first business plan, cobbled together from ideas I've had for the last year, and the top title page proudly displays my signature and Missionary business plan for tempura restaurant across the front. June flips through the pages, his eyes landing on each of the sections on produce, recipes, social media, and ad campaigns, local festival participation, and mentoring I thought of. All the things that were going well for the chef, but could have been even better. The chef never had any idea how his online presence looked. He had a website, but that was it. My friends would tell me about all the different magazines and social media websites people posted reviews on. It's something that could be spurred along if only the right person were in charge of it. You could be just as big as Nakamoto, even better. With a crisper batter recipe and more offerings on the menu, people will stay longer and buy more food. With social media and reviews all calling you the best tempura restaurant in the neighborhood, your place would double its business. I reach forward and pluck the business plan from June's hand. He watches it go reluctantly. And I know just the right person to give this to you. June's lips quirk before he smiles. Why don't you stay for dinner and we'll discuss this over a few beers? June stands up and sweeps his arm towards the front of the restaurant. I keep my sigh to myself and smile back. Of course, let's eat and make a deal, I say.
Chapter 9. Rice Cooker. Power restores to my extremities bit by bit, and my spirit comes alive with a blaze of electricity. I never used to think that I relied on such a human invention to exist, but I guess all the manuals that come with appliances are true. We do become sick or ill when we need repair, and we can truly die and come back to life at the flick of a switch. Ryu? My voice bounces off the unfamiliar walls, so much smaller than usual, and when my vision returns, a new vista awaits me. An unkempt kitchen with only one counter, a sink full of dishes, and a tiny under-counter refrigerator next to a stove with only 2 heating elements surround me. Where am I? Oh, thank God you're back. Ryu collapses in a heap against the counter next to me and sighs. I was beginning to think I paid 9,000 yen for absolutely nothing. No, I'm back, though it appears I've gone to hell, I say. Ryu laughs. I'm sorry, he wheezes. My brother is a bit of a pig, and I'd clean up after him if I actually believed he would apologize for being a pig. You're at my house now, and I just brought you home from the repairman. He said you'd be good as new. How do you feel? I cycle through all of my parts. Everything appears to be normal except for the faint whiff of smoke and some chemical I can't identify. Fire extinguisher, he says. You went up in flames and I had to put you out. Oh, tell me what happened with the chef. If I had legs, they'd be dancing. Great news, Ryu exclaims, throwing his hands in the air. I quit. I rescued you, and I ran out of money. I couldn't fix you or afford to fix you, so I came up with an idea. What? I ask. I made a business plan for the chef's competitor, he says. Natsugawa? Really? And did he go for it? He did. I'm an employee of his now. I get to work in the kitchen, and I'm in charge of all their online presence. Ryu pulls a fancy new smartphone from his back pocket and swipes it on, smiling ear to ear. In the time you've been out, I managed to update their website and get a few friends to come by and review the place. Then I set up a bunch of other things for them too. Business is rolling in. They even took my suggestions on the batter recipe. It tastes much better, he says. I'm overcome with emotion, so happy I'm afraid I may short another circuit. Why are you so quiet? Ryu asks, opening my lid and peering in the empty bowl. Oh, nothing. I'm really happy for you, really. If I could cry, I would, I say. Ryu inhales sharply through his nose. I owe it to you. If you hadn't saved me during that confrontation, I would have gone to jail. I did what I could, I say. Ryu readjusts me on the counter. Well, this is your new home now. We'll make rice together, maybe some porridge. And I have some ideas for whole meals made just with you. We could even take videos and post them online to promote the restaurant even more. I need to save up to get a better computer, though, soon. I sigh and thank the stars in heaven for giving me the guidance to trust Ryu. Sounds like the beginning of a great career, Ryu. I agree, he says, sweeping his hand over my lid. Slam, jab, crack. No more. I'm home.
Made with Spoken. Now available at spoken.press.